All right, for the final remote lab of the year, we are going to do acid rain. So in this chapter, we're talking about a little bit of air pollution, climate change, and then just in general environmental problems that the world is facing now. So we're going to talk about acid rain. Now, in order to make my acid rain, I have vinegar. So what I'm going to do, this is a ton of vinegar. I'm not going to use all of it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix varying levels of water and vinegar. So I've pre-measured out all the water. So this one has 400 milliliters, this one's got 396, this one has 375, 350, 300, and then 200. So I'm going to need to put vinegar in each of these to get the volume up to 400 total. Once I do that, I'm going to measure the pH. Then we are going to take the seeds that I have here, and we're going to mix them with the vinegar water solution, store them in a Ziploc bag, and we'll use that for our data. We're going to look at germination of the seeds. So do the seeds germinate? So for today's lab, I have two different kinds. I have mung beans, which you can't really see the label on because I've used it a bunch for last year's lab also. And then cat grass, because I'm at home and I have a cat, and so I have cat grass seeds. You may notice as I'm putting things in the bags, I'm labeling them based on the amount of vinegar I'm adding. So this one says like 200 mils. And that is because I'm going to have you guys calculate the percents. So that's the first part of this lab that you're going to have to do, is calculate what the percent is of vinegar in each one, so that you'll need that to like complete the lab assignment. All right, so first we're going to go ahead and start here, and I'm going to do 4 mils. Now I want to make sure I don't get any on these paper towels, so I'm actually going to move over to this side of the table to pour the vinegar, because if I get vinegar on those paper towels that are going to go in the Ziploc bags with the seeds, we won't get very good data. All right. So getting 4 mLs is going to be a little tricky. I have to pour a little out right now. All right, that looks good. So 4 milliliters. All right, next we have, this one has 375 mils of water, so I'm going to put 25 mils of vinegar. So you can use that to get your data. And I do want to point out, gotta pour a little out of this one too. All right, 25 mils. I do want to point out, if you can see this, it is not able to measure exactly 25 mLs. It's only able to measure, so it measures 7, 15, 22, 30, 45, and 60. So I'm having to do a little estimation, so that may come in handy later. This one is going to need 50 because it has 350 mLs of water. All right, it's a good thing I put some paper towels down because I'm having to pour out a little bit of vinegar again. All right, so there's 50. This one needs 100, so for this one I'm going to do 60 and then I'll do 40 again. All right, that's 60, and now we'll do 40. So 60 plus 40 gets us to 400 in there, and now we need 200 in this one. So this will be 3 batches of 60. That'll get me to 180, and then one 20 ml batch. So there's one. just need 20 mLs. Okay. So that was 200. All right, so now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to measure the pH. I'm going to go ahead and do that before I start getting some of this onto the paper towels. All right, so first, this one is going to be the pH of regular water. So our pH there is right about 6. This one just had a little bit of vinegar. And the pH is still, it might be down in 5. It's a little bit oranger. Not by much though. All right, this one had 25 mLs of vinegar. You can see it's starting to get more orange. That's probably about 4, maybe a 3. This one had 50 mLs of vinegar, and that's getting much more red. Still not as red as the number 2 one here. It's probably a little bit closer to a 3 than a 2. But somewhere in the middle there. It's not as orange as the 2. Right, this one had 100 mLs of vinegar, so that one's getting pretty red. That one's about a 2. And then last, this one has 200 mLs of vinegar. And that's pretty red. That's pretty close to 2. Now I did just do all that before I stirred them up. I'm actually going to go ahead and stir them and then take the pH again just to make sure that I have a good pH. And then I'm going to put these in. So I got to get my syringe. Now, because I didn't exactly plan all this before we left school, I have one syringe. So normally I would tell you guys to use a clean syringe in each one, but I can't do that right now. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do them in decreasing or in increasing acidity, because that will give us the best data. So we're going to go ahead and start, and I just had regular water in here. I was using it to give the tarantula some water earlier, so I'll have to find something else to use for her. So this is just regular water, so I don't really need to stir it, but I'm going to go ahead and stir it. I'm going to get the regular water on here, and I want it to really saturate the paper towel, and I'll show you what this looks like so that you can see it. So we want to saturate the paper towel. So this is what I have. I have paper towel with 10 mung beans and 10 catgrass seeds on there. Then I'm going to kind of fold it up. I don't want to cover the mung beans. I don't want to overlap mung beans with catgrass seeds. I want to give them each space to germinate. I'm going to go ahead and squirt a little bit more water on top after I folded it. So now I have this little like seed packet, little seed packet. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in my 0 ml bag. That means it has 0 mLs of vinegar. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm being very careful. I know it's kind of hard to see through all the glasses, but I'm being very careful not to get water on the other paper towels that I have here, because we don't want to change the pH. So I want to be very careful, keep those separate. I'm checking to make sure that, yeah, so the drip before got right in front of this paper towel, so it looks like I'm good. I don't have to run and get a new one, which is great. All right, so this one's 0 mLs. Now I'm going to keep these in an area for a couple of days so that they can germinate. And then once they've germinated, we'll count how many germinate in each group. Now, because this just had pure water in it, I'm not adding any more acid into this one when I move to this one next. I'm going to kind of scooch these over, and I'm going to grab these other paper towels, this dry paper towel here that I have still. Always important to have dry paper towels when you're doing water labs, apparently, to just wipe off some of this surface so I can kind of scoot over a little bit. That'll give me room to kind of slide over as we go. All right, so this one only had 4 mLs of vinegar, so it's probably going to be about the same as our other one, right? Didn't see too much change in pH. Alright, so same thing, I'm making my little seed packet, covering it with this water mixture. Alright, and now I need the baggie that is labeled 4 mLs. So we'll put that in here. Oh, I got some water on the table under it when I was moving the glasses, I guess. Ah! Alright. I would say if you try this at home, but the whole reason I'm doing it at my home is because it's a lot of stuff that you might not have at your home. You got to make sure that you don't drop the beans out of your little seed packet before you put them. Alright. So I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to go ahead and take those pHs off video since I've already kind of showed you guys how to take a pH. And then I'll put the picture of the pH paper from our second round of pH tests up on PowerSchool in Google Classroom, so you can see that there. Alright, so this one, remember, had 25 mLs of vinegar, so as I'm putting it on here, it is definitely smelling a little more pungent, a little more like pickles and all those other vinegar-based foods. Get that in here. Alright. Lost another mung bean, putting it back in its little packet so that we still have 10 in each. Alright, so that's our next one. Alright, and remember, because I'm going from least acidic to most acidic, if I get any of the liquid from like this cup into this cup, all I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the acidity. And probably not by a whole lot as we get down into these that have 100 mLs and 200 mLs of vinegar. This is the best way to keep our control uncontaminated. If I went the other direction, our control one would be contaminated with vinegar. But this way, I at least haven't contaminated the control one. And of course, this is not ideal. So this could be something you could talk about in designing an experiment. But, you know, I don't have a lot of syringes laying around my house. And the best way to get these wet so that I don't just pour water all over my floor is to use the one syringe that I do have. All right, second to last one. Alright, so while I'm finishing up these last two, some ideas you might want to think about for our lab, and this is not a lab report lab, this is just going to be a answering questions kind of lab, but some of the things that you'll want to think about are the fact that we have two types of seeds, so they might react differently, and how this lab is performed. So there are some areas where like it might be more accurate were I to do this in my actual lab instead of in my, you know, dining table. Because here, you know, I'm measuring using the measuring cup that doesn't have very accurate measurement amounts on it. You know, I'm limited to what I can measure out of that. To get 4 mLs of vinegar, I had to just estimate that it was a little bit more than halfway between nothing and 7 mLs. So that could be one source of like error. There's lots of other things you can probably gather from the video. And then also, we're going to look at over these different pHs, over these different percents of vinegar. But we're comparing two different types of seeds. So you might want to think about what would make mung beans or catgrass react differently. Are there any other types of seeds that you think might react better or worse than those? So there's lots of different things that we'll kind of talk about in relation to this lab. All right, so all of these are set up. So they don't need sun in order to germinate. So we're just going to kind of leave them probably next to the windowsill or somewhere where the temperature will be kind of warmish over the next couple of days. And then we will look at them and see what germinated after the weekend. All right.